As the back and forth over quorum continues, all the business at the Capitol is effectively on hold. Flood relief is one of the main topics, so the question is what, if anything, can be accomplished with some lawmakers still away from the states.
And going in depth, KXAN's Nabil Ramadna sat down with a political expert to find out more.
There's a lot of fingers being pointed in the state of Texas right now.
Look, we have made a commitment to kill this special session, and then hopefully Greg Abbott will come to his senses and remember that he has abandoned the people of the Hill Country.
And those impacted by the devastating floods July 4th weekend are caught in the middle.
Any aid to their constituents who've been harmed by these floods is being delayed and denied by the derelict Democrat.
Governor Greg Abbott spoke to NBC, saying when he issued the special session agenda, the first item he listed was relief for the deadly flooding.
There's only one thing that's denying our ability to get legislation passed, and it's these Democrats who have fled the state.
Representative John Busey, who represents parts of Austin, says the governor can do more to help those flood victims, though, even with House Democrats out of the state.
He has executive authority right now. He could act today, and we're calling on him to act today to help the people of the Texas Hill Country, and then we'll be ready to come back and join him at the negotiating table to solve many of the problems of Texas that he has created.
But what exactly can be done? I spoke with Brian Smith, a political science professor at St. Edward's, to find out.
He doesn't have a lot of executive authority to make decisions with a phone and a pen, so he can only do what the legislature presents to him. And if they have not passed any bills, he really can't take any action on his own.
But there are some things he can do. The governor has budget execution authority to manage the state's appropriations while the legislature is not in session. Budget execution authority permits the state to reallocate existing appropriations for fiscal emergencies that occur between legislative sessions.
What he can do is move around a little bit of money, but because the disaster is so great, it requires a lot of money, and only the legislature can really appropriate out that money.
And so the stalemate continues.
Both sides think they're doing what's best for Texas.
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
Quorum for a fifth day as there were new developments outside the Capitol in the fight over congressional redistricting.
Now today, Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a motion with the Texas Supreme Court to remove 13 House Democrats from their seats, adding to previous legal threats made against the quorum breakers. In addition, U.S. Senator John Cornyn and State Representatives Mitch Little and Briscoe Cain filed briefs in support of Governor Greg Abbott's Supreme Court lawsuit to remove House Democratic leader Gene Wu. Representative Wu says he doesn't take the lawsuit seriously, though, and finds the actions of Republican leadership laughable.
This is rather embarrassing for a governor who was the former Attorney General, a former Supreme Court Justice, a former Appellate Court Justice, a former District Court Judge, and the licensed attorney to miss something that is basically a first-year law school type of question.
During a news conference with some House Democrats in Sacramento, California leaders said they plan to have their own redistricting map to present to voters in November.
This week, Williamson County commissioners, they started discussions on budgeting for the upcoming fiscal year. KXAN's Kevin Bosker highlights the numbers with the most impact.
On Tuesday, the Williamson County Budget Officer and Commissioners Court suggested planning for a recommended total $735 million budget. So what does that entail? The general fund budget, which covers core functions of the county like public safety and administration, and more than $375 million. That's $14 million more than the current year. Other parts include the Road and Bridge Fund, which supports transportation infrastructure, at nearly $73 million, and the Debt Service Fund, which helps pay off for county loans and bonds for past projects like buildings and infrastructure, at more than $220 million. First-year Williamson County Judge Stephen Snell says a lot still needs to be done.
Getting a budget that meets the needs of the county and the fast growth of the county and still stay efficient and keep tax rate as low as possible is going to be very important.
Currently, Williamson County property owners just pay under 40 cents per $100 of valuation. They have not determined what the rate will be this year yet, but commissioners did vote not to exceed 41.37 cents. Anything higher would require approval in an election.
That's basically our ceiling. And then after that, we can always go down from it, and I'm sure we will go down from it. We have in the past.
Commissioner Valerie Covey says balancing the budget with a booming population is challenging.
It's difficult with such a growing county and the the needs that we have.
Snell says as conversations progress, he wants first responders to be a priority.
We just had a experience with the flood. We need to make sure they have everything they need to take care of our county.
Kevin Bosker, KXAN News.
And it is still unclear if people in Williamson County will see their taxes go up as commissioners are working through all the proposals. They plan to have a final budget set by August 26th. And you can read up on these proposals at kxan.com.
Austin is taking another step into outer space. Earlier this summer, one local company received a grant from the state, and the money will help build futuristic satellites right here in Central Texas.
And now the state plans to offer up even more money to grow the space industry. KXAN's Eric Hendrickson explores what's next for the state's journey to the stars.
Across a factory floor, telecommunications components are put together. Their ultimate destination? Space. Birthed in a shopping center in Bee Cave, Texas, Cesium Astro has grown over 8 years into a leading developer of telecommunications equipment.
We're entering a generation of connectivity that is very different to what we have been used to over the past century.
CEO Shay Sabrapur says the company will soon take a giant leap.
We're building now the most advanced satellite spacecraft factory in the world, in my opinion, in Austin.
Their satellite, called Element, allows them to send targeted services to remote areas. The signal can be shaped and even move.
It's about connecting advanced robotics, factories, the warfighter to the source of the information in the most secure, resilient, low-latency, high-speed method possible.
In May, the Texas Space Commission approved a $10 million grant for the company.
Approximately $126 million has been approved to date.
Texas Space Commission Executive Director Norman Garza said that since it started handing out money in 2023, 22 projects have received grants.
Governor Abbott and the team around him are passionate about growing the state economy, and space is a huge economy.
That investment will grow in September. A new bill passed this session allocated more funds.
$300 million in 2025.
I couldn't be more honored by the trust that Texas Space Commission put in us to expand our facility here.
In Bee Cave, Eric Hendrickson, KXAN News.
And the company plans to launch its first satellite next summer, with plans to launch 1 or 2 satellites per year after that. Governor Abbott delivered the keynote address at the Texas Department of Public Safety's recruit graduation ceremony this morning. And that event recognized a class for completing a 30-week training program. At the graduation ceremony today, Governor Abbott spoke on the impact DPS has made in rescue efforts during last month's flooding.
DPS officers jumped into immediate action. In their collaborative efforts, they rescued and they saved almost 1,000 people from those ravaging floods. And those people are alive today.
And this morning's ceremony saw 123 recruits graduate from the DPS training program.